Is this a knockoff of the Vaporfly Next percent? I'll let you know on my first impressions of the Qiaodan Kungfu Pro. Alright, this is another shoe review, everyone. Just want to say thank you guys for watching this video. Like and subscribe for more content. And just really quick with the disclaimer, I paid these shoes on my own. They don't know that I'm reviewing their shoe. My opinions and my opinions only. And let's get started. Fun fact about this company, Qiaodan actually means Jordan, and Michael Jordan actually did sue this company because of branding rights. So that's a little fun fact for you guys. Let's go to the specs. Okay, specs on this shoe. This is a carbon plated racing shoe. If I go like this, the plate is pretty stiff. If I go like this, it's got a pretty decent twist. So a neutral racing carbon plated shoe. Let's go with the forefoot. I measured at 33 millimeters. This is off my measurements. I did it a couple times to double check. So 33 on the forefoot. And online, I kind of did a little research, and they said that this is a 5 millimeter drop. So if this is a 33 on the forefoot, that would make it about 38 in the heel. This is a US 11. Euro 45 size. It comes in at 208 grams. You can purchase this shoe on AliExpress or TaoBao. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but the price ranges quite drastically. A very cheap running shoe. It ranges from around 108 US dollars to 145 US dollars. Let's talk about the upper really quick. So it uses a mesh upper, very similar to the Vaporweave. You can kind of see from this, it's very translucent. So if I put my hands in there, you can kind of see my fingers right there. It's got a little bit of structure on the toe area, a little bit of framework on the outside, and then on the heel, very little padding, but it's just enough to give you a nice lockdown on the shoe. A very thin tongue, very thin shoelaces. On to the midsole. It uses a combination of a TPE and EVA midsole. So it's a very, very squishy shoe. So if I do the durometer on it, you can see squeezing that sucker. It goes right in. Very soft and bouncy shoe. Now it's the carbon plate is sandwiched in between this TPE EVA midsole. It's in a very aggressive plate, especially in the forefoot area. You can kind of see the little rocker technology that they use. The plate really goes up. It's pretty similar to the BMAI 42K Turbo with the aggressive plate. Now when it goes to the outsole, it uses what is called a CPU rubber. Pretty strategically, they place it on the forefoot area and two little strips in the heel. Exposure of the carbon fiber plate. Now my first impressions of this ride, I used it on a workout. For one of my workout days, it was a ladder drill, so I did a 1 minute on, 1 minute off, 2 minute on, 2 minute off, and it went all the way up to 4. So it went 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I did pretty good with the shoe. It felt really nice going in those fast paces. Right before I did the workout, right when I put on the shoe, I noticed how very soft it was, especially my heel was really sinking in once I put the shoe on, but It felt very aggressive on the forefoot, so kind of like felt like my foot was kind of just sinking in while my toes were kind of going up like that. But the ride itself, it was pretty nice on the slow runs um, as the EV or the midsole, the TPE and the EVA combined midsole gives it a nice little ride when you're going on easy runs, as like I was doing with my warm up, and with the plate when you go really fast, gives you a nice little toe off. It's very forgiving, as like I said, the midsole is just very soft, gives a nice good bounce to it as well. Unlike the Piba midsole is a little bit more, it's not as soft, but it does give you somewhat of a nice rebound back, whereas this one is just squishy, but the carbon plate is the one that kind of makes up for the get off. Let's go with the pros of this shoe really quick. It's gotta be the midsole, guys. The midsole is very soft, very bouncy. It's just, it feels really good. The combo of this aggressive carbon plate that they have in here gives a very nice ride on easy days and fast-paced days, but obviously I would not use this on an easy day. This is meant to be a racing shoe or doing fast speed work on it. So yeah, the midsole is fantastic on this shoe, guys. Another positive thing about the shoe is that it's only 108 US dollars, and then it can also range from 145 US dollars. So that is a very cheap price for the ride of this shoe for to use for races and specific speed workouts, speed drills. This is a great price, guys. So if you don't want to spend that $200, $250 range in the US, this shoe is a good option to have. Let's go with the cons of this. There's quite a few cons I have with this shoe. Let's start with the upper. So the upper, yes, it uses the vapor weave material just like the Next percent, but I don't know. I feel like this is cheaply made. Don't want to say it too harshly, but it's cheaply. It feels just super cheap. And then like up here, it's all scrunchy up here. Just I don't know. It just doesn't have like a good feel to it, I guess you can say. And you can kind of hear the little scrunchiness. And then if you look at the footwork on it, it's very thin, especially in the midfoot. So when I was trying to put my foot inside, obviously my foot kind of somewhat was overlapping like this. It wasn't that much of a deal breaker, but I just thought I'd let you guys know about that. Now the biggest flaw for me on the upper is it's got to be the shoelaces and the tongue. I had a really hard time trying to lock down this shoe. It took me a few times to kind of loosen and tighten just to try to get the right feel. And then, as I mentioned, the tongue, it's very thin. It's kind of just like a cloth material. That's pretty much it. So if you can kind of see, it's just very thin. So it was very like loosey-goosey. See, if I just went like this, look how thin it is. It's kind of hard to wrap around your ankle and your shin area. So those are the two biggest flaws that I have with this upper, is the shoelace and the tongue. The cons also come with the outsole. I don't feel like in general that this shoe, although I've only ran it this is my only first impression, so I've only taken this shoe on a run one time, but I just feel like just kind of touching it on the grips on the outsole, that it's probably not going to grip as good. You're probably going to lose some traction, probably going to be slipping a little bit, especially when it comes to wet terrain and whatnot. So yeah, that's the con for the outsole. Another con I want to talk about is just the design, just the look of this shoe. This is the purple version I have. They have various colors of this, but I don't know. I try to tell myself that it's all about the performance of the shoe and not the look, but this is just hard. This is just hard to look at. You have like the Jordan brand, like the Jordan logo on it, and just, I don't know, just the design of the shoe. I mean, like this shoe, like the X-Step, not really a fan of this shoe, but the design looks a lot better than this design, in my opinion. Even the BMAI 42K Turbo, the design is really good on this one compared to this one. Just throwing that out there. If you're all into looks, this is probably not a good looking shoe for you guys to ride, but if you don't care about the ride or the design and just want to worry about the performance of the shoe, this is a good performance shoe for you. Overall, I think this shoe is going to have some durability issues. I kind of did a little bit of research online with this shoe, and there has been a few times where customers had this shoe arrive to them and the upper kind of like torn off, like this framework and this vapor weave. There was a picture online that I saw where it was like it came to the customer ripped. So I feel like the overall durability of this shoe is not going to last long. And then also reviews of the TPE and EVA midsole. They say it's very similar to the FeelCell midsole that they use for New Balance on their racing shoes, like the RC Elite and RC Elite 2. They kind of brought up the point where there's a certain amount of miles you can only put in the shoe, and then just the midsole will just kind of decompress, and it's not going to be as bouncy as it was. So kind of watch out for that. And then obviously I already mentioned about the outsole. I don't think the grip is going to be fantastic on this. Just looking at it too, I feel like these little nibs that they have here is just, I think they're gonna go away quickly. But this is a carbon plated racing shoe, guys. You're only probably gonna be only using this for certain specific speed workouts and on race day. So these shoes don't really last that long, and yeah, that's pretty much the cons on this shoe. Now, would I say this is a knockoff of the Nike Vaporfly Next percent? It kind of has its own features. I mean, it doesn't use the P-Bax foam on the midsole, but from the looks of it and the somewhat similarities to the Vaporfly Next percent, I would say yes. A knockoff version. Yeah, I would have to say this is kind of a knockoff version, but if you want to go cheap, this is a good option for you. Now, how would I use this shoe going forward? I would use it mainly for speed training, some speed work, tempo runs, threshold runs. I can possibly use this also for my long runs as well if I want to pick up the pace or put specific workouts in it. So I did mention about slow runs. I would definitely not use this as a easy or recovery run. Like this shoe is meant to go fast. If I had to race in this shoe, I would definitely use it for a 5K, 10K, half marathon. Not use it for a full, but it could go, if you're interested to run a full marathon, this could also work as a full marathon just based off the stack height and the cushioning and the bounciness to it. So those are what I would use for this Qiaodan shoe. Tell me, guys, what would you use this shoe for? Would you use the shoe the way I would use the shoe? Would you use it for your race days? Would you ever purchase this shoe if you don't have it already? Comment down below. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below with those questions as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.